We begin in the fragile space between one heartbeat and the next, in the quiet milliseconds that slip unnoticed through our lives. Imagine a world suspended, where the usual rhythm of time softens, and reality itself seems to tremble on the edge of perception. In these liminal moments, the pauses between events, the spaces between breaths, something extraordinary hides. It is a universe we rarely see, a forgotten dimension that exists all around us, yet we seldom acknowledge. The sunlight flickering through a window becomes not merely light, but a river of fleeting golden particles, each one holding a secret story. Shadows stretch and bend as if whispering truths we are too hurried to hear. Every detail, no matter how small, pulses with potential meaning. We feel the brush of these moments in subtle, almost imperceptible ways, the hesitation before a word is spoken, the brief pause when a stranger's gaze meets ours, the tiny shiver as a memory surfaces unexpectedly. These are the building blocks of existence that slip silently past the notice of most. Yet, the very act of noticing transforms them. A single moment can stretch into eternity when seen with awareness. The mind, often caught in the current of past regrets or future anxieties, misses these delicate intervals. Our lives feel continuous, linear, inevitable, but what if reality is fractured, composed not of a steady flow but of countless hidden beats, pulses we cannot fully measure? In these slivers of time, the ordinary can turn miraculous. Consider a drop of rain as it clings to a leaf before falling, a fleeting jewel suspended between sky and earth. In that pause, gravity itself seems hesitant. The world teeters, balanced on the razor edge of possibility, and in that hesitation, we glimpse the universe in miniature. Every breath, every twitch of an eyelid, every thought and sensation carries within it a whisper of something larger, something incomprehensibly vast, stretching beyond our ordinary senses. The forgotten universe between moments is not merely a poetic notion, it is a hidden framework beneath the surface of reality. Across science, philosophy, and art, thinkers have speculated about these liminal spaces. Physicists speak of particles vibrating, of energy and matter flickering in brief instants between observable states. Neuroscientists suggest that perception itself is a patchwork, stitched together from fragments that arrive just slightly out of sync, leaving gaps we are unconscious of. Philosophers have long pondered the thresholds where time blurs and consciousness flickers, where the ordinary rules of cause and effect seem to falter. And artists, across centuries, have sought to capture these invisible moments in brush strokes, in music, in language that hints at what cannot be fully grasped. Yet, despite these attempts, the in-between remains elusive, an invisible pulse underlying everything, felt more than seen, hinted at more than understood. Imagine standing at the edge of a forest as dawn begins to break. The light is fragile, spilling in soft golden ribbons through the mist. Every leaf trembles, each droplet of dew catching the nascent sun like a tiny prism. You inhale, and the forest seems to exhale with you, a living entity in delicate, imperceptible motion. In that breath, a world of small miracles exists, yet most pass unnoticed. The ordinary is transformed, a bird pauses mid-flight, the wind halts for a heartbeat, and for that fleeting instant, the universe is entirely present, wholly awake. The cinematic quality of these moments, though invisible to many, is staggering in its beauty and in its profundity. There is an emotional resonance here, a tension between what is seen and what is hidden, a sense that reality itself is more mysterious than our eyes allow. This first glimpse into the forgotten universe is meant to awaken a curiosity that lingers, a subtle question that will thread through our journey. What exists in the spaces we overlook? Are these gaps empty, or do they contain layers of meaning, unseen forces, or fleeting sparks of insight? The contrast is immediate and compelling. The world as we perceive it feels continuous, controlled, familiar, but beneath that veneer lies a hidden dimension of suspense, of awe, of endless possibilities. In these liminal spaces, fear and wonder coexist. There is fear in realizing how much slips through unnoticed, how many moments vanish without record or recognition. Yet there is wonder in the possibility that within these lost beats lies the extraordinary, the profound, the transformative. As we embark on this journey, the invitation is simple yet profound. Slow down, and attend to the unnoticed. Listen to the silence that fills the pauses. Watch the shadows that stretch between light and dark. Feel the heartbeat not just as rhythm, but as a portal into the fleeting architecture of existence. This is where the forgotten universe resides, waiting to be seen, waiting to be felt, waiting to reveal that which has been hidden between the moments all along. It is fragile, transient, and breathtakingly beautiful, a universe that is both within and beyond us, existing in the perpetual pause that we rarely, if ever, fully experience. Here, At the threshold of awareness, the cinematic stage is set. Our journey will trace the contours of this invisible realm, following the microcosms of life, the micro-events of time, and the hidden rhythms of existence. We begin not with grand revelations but with subtle recognition, that the universe is not merely what we see or measure, but also what slips past, the infinite potential suspended between the ticks of the clock, the beats of the heart, and the spaces between our own thoughts. It is here, in the fragile interstices of reality, that the story of the forgotten universe begins. Time, as we perceive it, is a river, continuous, unbroken, inevitable. From childhood, we are taught to measure it with clocks and calendars, to divide our lives into neat segments of seconds, minutes, and hours. We build our routines around this flow, assuming it is smooth, predictable, and uniform. Yet beneath this comforting illusion lies a far stranger reality. The flow of time is not continuous but fractured, stitched together by perception, memory, and the fleeting awareness of each passing instant. What we call now is not a fixed point but a patchwork of micro-moments, each one lasting only a fraction of a second, a pulse we rarely notice. Our consciousness fills the gaps, creating the illusion of continuity. And in doing so, we miss the extraordinary universe that exists in the spaces between. Imagine standing on a busy street, watching the world move around you. People walk, cars rush by, neon lights flicker, and the city hums with life. To your mind, it seems continuous, seamless. But if you could slow down perception, you would see an entirely different reality. Each footstep hovers for a millisecond, each glance contains countless unperceived choices, each breath divides into smaller fragments than the mind can register. The city pauses briefly in ways invisible to our ordinary senses. In that pause, the extraordinary potential of existence becomes apparent. What was once merely routine now shimmers with possibility. Time, as experienced by consciousness, is not a line but a constellation of moments, each one a tiny universe of cause and effect, chance and consequence. Philosophers have long grappled with this tension between perceived continuity and hidden fragmentation. Augustine, writing in the 4th century, questioned how the mind could grasp time when the past no longer exists and the future has yet to arrive. Modern neuroscience echoes this puzzle. Studies show that the brain processes information in discrete snapshots, integrating them into a seamless experience only afterward. We live inside the narrative our consciousness constructs, unaware of the flickering frames that compose our reality. This raises profound questions. If our experience of life is stitched together from gaps, what happens in the intervals we cannot perceive? What hidden events, forces, or choices reside in the shadows of awareness? The cinematic imagery of this hidden structure is staggering. Picture a candle burning in a dark room, its flame wavering with tiny, almost imperceptible pulses. Between each pulse, the world is not empty but alive with potential energy, the air trembling, particles shifting, shadows stretching in ways that escape notice. Or imagine the ocean, its waves crashing rhythmically against the shore. To the naked eye, the water flows in a continuous sweep. Yet each crest and trough is a separate, momentary event, a microcosm of energy and motion that exists briefly before dissolving into the next. In both cases, the apparent smoothness masks an intricate, hidden structure, invisible except to those who slow their perception and attend to the subtleties of the world. This illusion of continuity extends to every aspect of life. Conversations feel fluid, but each word arises from a cascade of neural firing, milliseconds of hesitation, micro-decisions, and subconscious calculations. Actions seem instantaneous, yet they are composed of countless invisible adjustments. Even our emotional experiences are stitched together from fleeting sensory impressions, brief glances, and subconscious inferences. What we perceive as normal life is actually a carefully constructed tapestry woven from fragments of reality that we rarely notice. The gaps are vast, and within them lie mysteries we have barely begun to understand. The emotional resonance of realizing this is profound. There is wonder in recognizing that life is more complex and subtle than it appears, that each instant contains layers of hidden depth. But there is also unease. If much of existence occurs in the unseen, in the unnoticed gaps, how much of reality do we truly grasp? What forces, events, or decisions escape our perception entirely? The contrast is striking. The familiar, safe rhythm of daily life against the hidden, vibrating universe that pulses in micro-moments beneath our awareness. This tension between comfort and uncertainty, between the known and the unseen, is at the heart of the human experience. Science illuminates these hidden fractures with astonishing detail. High-speed cameras capture the flutter of a hummingbird's wings, revealing motion invisible to the naked eye. Particle physics demonstrates that subatomic events occur in probabilistic bursts, not continuous trajectories. Neuroscience shows that consciousness operates in discrete frames, and that our perception of fluid experience is an artful reconstruction by the brain. Each of these discoveries underscores a central truth: the world is far less smooth, far less predictable, and far more mysterious than our everyday senses suggest. As we confront the illusion of continuous time, the stakes feel immediate. Understanding these micromoments changes how we live, how we perceive, how we value each interaction. Every pause, every hesitation, every flicker of attention becomes charged with meaning. The ordinary becomes extraordinary, the fleeting moment becomes monumental, and life itself seems richer, more fragile, and infinitely more mysterious. By the end of this section, the audience begins to see the world not as a river of endless continuity but as a constellation of fleeting, interwoven events. Time is no longer something external we measure, it is an experience shaped by perception, consciousness, and the hidden spaces between each tick of the clock. Curiosity is piqued, wonder awakened, and the stage is set for a deeper exploration. What exists in these gaps, and why have we, for so long, overlooked the universe between moments? Every moment, no matter how fleeting, carries the potential to shape reality in ways we cannot fully comprehend. Consider the tiny ripple caused by a single drop of water falling into a vast lake. To the casual observer, it disappears almost instantly, leaving no trace. Yet within that small disturbance, waves spread outward, touching every part of the lake, subtly altering its surface. In the same way, micromoments in our lives, milliseconds of hesitation, a glance exchanged, a decision made without conscious thought, can cascade into effects far larger than we imagine. These moments, invisible in the grand narrative of life, are the quiet architects of consequence, the hidden forces that shape who we are and what we become. The cinematic imagery of these micro-events is striking. Picture a lone butterfly perched on the edge of a cliff, wings trembling in the wind. A gust passes, lifting it into the air. Its path seems random, almost inconsequential. Yet each flap of its wings shifts the surrounding air, nudging particles, influencing the trajectory of nearby leaves and insects. In an invisible chain reaction, small motions ripple outward, ultimately affecting events far beyond what the eye can see. In life, our choices function much the same way. The moment we speak or remain silent, act or hesitate, sets into motion forces that may influence lives, relationships, and even the wider world in ways we will never witness. The ordinary conceals extraordinary impact. Psychology and neuroscience reveal how profoundly these micromoments shape our perception of reality. Cognitive studies show that human decisions are often made before we are consciously aware of them, suggesting that unseen processes govern behavior. Split-second judgments, tiny shifts in attention, and fleeting emotional reactions all contribute to outcomes we believe we consciously control. Philosophers have long pondered this tension between free will and determinism, noting that the invisible architecture of our choices can dictate the course of life. Each moment, therefore, is a pivot point, a junction between chance and intention, where the invisible hand of circumstance meets the fragile architecture of human consciousness. Emotion intensifies the significance of these fleeting intervals. A brief touch on the shoulder can ignite warmth, trust, or fear. A glance that lingers a fraction too long can seed desire or suspicion. We experience entire lifetimes in the span of a few heartbeats, memories and emotions crystallizing in the tiniest slivers of time. These fragments, though easily overlooked, leave indelible imprints on our psyche. The cinematic effect is palpable. Imagine a close-up of an eye catching a glint of sunlight, a hand trembling just before grasping another, a pause in speech heavy with unspoken meaning. Each frame is saturated with emotional weight, each micromoment a universe unto itself. The contrast between the mundane appearance of these moments and their hidden power is essential to understanding their significance. Life seems ordinary, even predictable, yet beneath this surface flows a hidden current of cause and effect, chance and synchronicity. A person missing a train by seconds may avoid a life-altering accident. A forgotten word in a conversation may alter the course of a relationship. These are the subtle, nearly invisible threads connecting events across time and space. The ordinary world, we begin to see, is only a facade. The true dynamics of existence operate in the microcosm, in the intervals that escape casual attention. Quantum mechanics, though far removed from everyday experience, mirrors these phenomena. At the smallest scales, particles do not move in continuous paths but exist in probabilities, appearing, disappearing, and interacting in ways that defy classical intuition. The universe itself is composed of fleeting events, each one impermanent, each one capable of influencing outcomes in ways we cannot directly observe. The resonance with human experience is uncanny. Just as micromoments shape individual lives, microevents shape the cosmos. Time, causality, and reality are not as linear as they seem. The hidden mechanics of existence operate in a delicate, ephemeral dance, a rhythm invisible to the unaided eye but critical to the unfolding of everything we perceive. History, too, provides evidence of the profound impact of seemingly insignificant moments. A decision made in a quiet study, a conversation overheard on a street corner, a misstep that changes a path, each has redirected the course of civilizations. Imagine an explorer pausing for a heartbeat before crossing a river, a soldier hesitating just long enough to avoid disaster, or an inventor choosing one equation over another. In each instance, the world shifts subtly, irreversibly, all triggered by a fraction of time that may have seemed trivial at the moment. These instances accumulate, weaving together the grand tapestry of history, where micro-moments become monumental without anyone noticing at the time. Cinematic storytelling allows us to perceive these hidden forces. Slow-motion sequences, lingering close-ups, and shifting perspectives immerse the audience in the gravity of the micro-moment. A leaf trembling in the wind becomes a metaphor for unseen consequence. A fleeting smile between strangers hints at connections that may ripple outward. The combination of sensory richness and narrative tension ensures that viewers not only understand but feel the invisible universe at work. Emotion and intellect intersect, drawing the audience into a deeper awareness of how reality is shaped in every heartbeat. The narrative of moments shaping reality is not only intellectual but profoundly emotional. It evokes awe at the delicate complexity of existence and fear at the fragility of life. It reminds us that every action carries weight, every hesitation holds possibility, and every unobserved interval contains both risk and potential. The contrast between the visible and the hidden, between cause and consequence, is at once unsettling and inspiring. Awareness of these micro-moments cultivates mindfulness, gratitude, and curiosity. It challenges us to slow down, to pay attention, and to recognize the hidden architecture beneath the surface of our lives. As we conclude this section, the audience begins to grasp a crucial insight. Reality is not simply what we see or remember. It is shaped by the invisible, the fleeting, the forgotten moments that pulse beneath our awareness. Each second carries the weight of countless micro-events, weaving the tapestry of existence in ways we are only beginning to understand. The ordinary world becomes extraordinary when we attend to the delicate interplay of these moments, revealing a universe alive with hidden patterns, untold stories, and quiet power. Life is both larger and more subtle than our senses allow, and the journey into this hidden domain is just beginning. Beneath the surface of the world we perceive lies a realm stranger than imagination, where particles flicker in and out of existence, where uncertainty rules and certainties dissolve. This is the domain of quantum mechanics, a universe of whispers, probabilities, and fleeting possibilities. Here, the microcosm mirrors the hidden interstices of our own consciousness, the unseen moments that shape reality. Imagine a particle suspended in space, appearing simultaneously in multiple places, influenced not by deterministic laws but by chance and subtle forces. It is a dance of probability, a ballet of the invisible, and it challenges every assumption we hold about how reality operates. The cinematic potential of such a universe is immense. Energy flickering in shadows, matter dissolving into waves, and the invisible scaffolding of existence pulsing beneath the surface of all things. Quantum whispers are not merely abstract concepts, they are fundamental to understanding the hidden rhythms of life. Electrons do not follow predictable paths but exist in clouds of probability, shifting and shimmering in ways that defy intuition. Photons can act as both particles and waves, depending on whether they are observed. The universe at its smallest scales is fluid, uncertain, and profoundly alive. Each micro-event carries the potential to influence outcomes far beyond itself. In essence, the hidden universe operates like the micro-moments in our own lives. A pause, a glance, a fleeting thought can ripple outward, shaping reality in subtle yet profound ways. Just as the flutter of a particle can alter the state of the cosmos, a single micro-moment in human experience can shift the trajectory of a life, a relationship, or even a history. The contrast between classical physics and quantum uncertainty amplifies the sense of wonder. At the macroscopic level, we see stability. Planets orbit stars, clocks tick, rivers flow predictably. We assume continuity, the comforting order of causality. But peel back this layer, slow down perception, and the certainty dissolves. The unseen structures of the universe are alive with randomness and potential. Cinematic imagery captures this paradox beautifully. A star field shimmering in silence, particles dancing invisibly in a laboratory, a single photon tracing a path through a prism, splitting light into infinite colors. It is a visual language of uncertainty, a meditation on the fragile boundary between order and chaos. The human mind mirrors this strange, probabilistic dance. Neuroscience shows that decisions are made in the brain before consciousness registers them. Moments of choice hover in the liminal space between intention and action, shaped by unseen influences both internal and external. Thoughts flicker in milliseconds, emotions spike and dissipate, and the conscious self perceives only the outcome, not the invisible cascade that led to it. This parallels the quantum world, where observation itself affects reality. Awareness, like measurement, collapses possibilities into events. The analogy is haunting. The universe, at its smallest scales, behaves in ways similar to the human mind, as if consciousness itself is a reflection of the hidden mechanics of existence. Cinematic storytelling brings these concepts into the realm of the tangible. Visual metaphors, a droplet suspended in air, a beam of light splitting into endless colors, a field of particles moving unpredictably yet harmoniously, allow audiences to feel, rather than merely understand, the subtle rhythms of the quantum domain. The contrast between what is visible and what is hidden evokes a sense of awe and tension. It prompts the question, if the very foundation of matter is probabilistic, then what does this say about our perception of reality? What unseen forces govern the in-between moments of our lives, the hidden spaces of consciousness, the micro-events that ripple into the macro world? Quantum whispers also carry an emotional resonance. There is wonder in knowing that reality is far more fluid and dynamic than our senses suggest. There is tension in confronting uncertainty, the idea that predictability is an illusion and that the universe itself is a complex interplay of chance and hidden law. This tension mirrors human experience. We navigate daily life as though it is predictable, yet unseen influences constantly shape our trajectory. The cinematic effect heightens these emotions. Slow-motion sequences of falling objects, light bending through prisms, shadows flickering against walls, all suggest a reality alive with invisible motion, a world that exists not only in what we see but in the gaps, the pauses, the quantum whispers that underpin all existence. History of science reveals the magnitude of these discoveries. Einstein struggled with the uncertainty inherent in quantum theory, famously remarking that God does not play dice. Niels Bohr countered, suggesting that uncertainty is not a flaw but the fundamental nature of reality. Experiments repeatedly confirm that at the quantum level, particles behave in ways that defy classical logic, and observation alters outcomes. The universe is both stranger and more poetic than we imagined. It is a world where fleeting events, micro-moments, and invisible processes dominate, where nothing is entirely fixed and everything is interconnected in ways we are only beginning to perceive. The narrative tension here is crucial. Quantum mechanics challenges not only our intellect but our emotions. Fear and wonder coexist as we confront the idea that stability is an illusion and control is limited. Yet within this uncertainty lies beauty, possibility, and profound insight. The cinematic depiction of this invisible dance reinforces the emotional and intellectual stakes. The audience is invited to feel the pulse of the hidden universe, to sense the vibrations of micro-events that ripple through time and space, and to grasp that these whispers are both the fabric of matter and the heartbeat of consciousness. As this section concludes, viewers are left suspended between comprehension and mystery. The contrast between the predictable macroscopic world and the probabilistic quantum domain creates a sense of awe, curiosity, and emotional tension. Quantum whispers illuminate the invisible architecture of reality, bridging science with the human experience of micro-moments, decision-making, and perception. The universe is no longer simply a backdrop for life. It is an active, probabilistic participant, a hidden dance that mirrors our own fleeting, fragile, and infinitely consequential existence. Consciousness hovers on the edge of perception, suspended in the spaces between moments. It is here, in the fragile threshold of awareness, that the human mind confronts the extraordinary complexity of existence. We perceive a continuous stream of thoughts, sensations, and emotions, yet closer examination reveals that consciousness itself is episodic, flickering like a candle in a gentle breeze. There are gaps between perceptions, milliseconds where the mind holds its breath, moments that escape our notice yet quietly shape experience. Imagine standing in a quiet forest at dawn, the mist curling around ancient trees. You hear the faint rustle of leaves, the distant call of a bird. Time seems to pause. You are acutely aware, yet a part of your mind drifts into the invisible currents of anticipation, memory, and imagination. In these micro-moments, consciousness touches the hidden fabric of reality, sensing what cannot be fully seen. Neuroscience reveals that consciousness is not a monolithic stream but a mosaic of fleeting frames, stitched together to create the illusion of continuity. Research shows that our brains integrate sensory information over intervals of milliseconds, combining fragments into coherent perceptions. Decisions are often made before we are consciously aware of them, and emotional reactions can arise faster than deliberate thought. In essence, the mind operates in the liminal, bridging what is present with what is about to happen. These ephemeral processes suggest that consciousness itself is deeply intertwined with the invisible universe between moments. Each blink of an eye, each hesitation, each fleeting thought may carry profound significance, shaping how we experience reality and interact with the world. The cinematic potential of this threshold is immense. Picture a slow-motion sequence of a person reaching for a falling object. The hand hovers, the eyes flicker, the heart beats. In that suspended moment, time seems to stretch, and the weight of possibility is palpable. Each microsecond carries the tension of choice, consequence, and unseen influence. The audience feels the suspense, aware of both the fragility and the power contained within a single instant. Emotional resonance intensifies as we realize that the mind is not merely observing reality, it is actively participating in its unfolding, shaping events in subtle, invisible ways. Philosophical perspectives amplify this sense of wonder. Thinkers have long debated the nature of consciousness, questioning the boundary between self and universe, observer and observed. Eastern philosophies describe a luminous awareness present in every instant, a consciousness that can sense the flow of life in the subtlest intervals. Western thought often emphasizes rational analysis and linear continuity, yet even here, theories of mind suggest that awareness operates in discrete pulses. The intersection of philosophy and neuroscience highlights the profound mystery of consciousness. It is simultaneously intimate and vast, deeply personal and universally connected, fragile and resilient. The spaces between moments are where this mystery is most palpable. Emotion intertwines with cognition in these liminal spaces. A fleeting glance, a hesitation before speech, a sudden realization, these are moments of heightened sensitivity, where perception and feeling converge. The cinematic effect is intensified by close-ups of trembling hands, dilating pupils, or a sudden intake of breath. Audiences sense the tension and wonder inherent in these intervals, recognizing that they too experience such moments daily without awareness. Fear, awe, curiosity, and empathy are all heightened when attention is drawn to the micro-moments of consciousness. It is as if the hidden pulse of life itself resonates within the human mind, creating a profound emotional connection to the unseen rhythms of reality. The spaces between conscious awareness and subconscious processing are especially intriguing. Dreams, fleeting intuitions, and sudden insights often emerge from this threshold, revealing knowledge and understanding before the conscious mind can articulate it. The mind is constantly predicting, reconstructing, and anticipating, operating as a bridge between the visible world and the invisible mechanisms underlying it. Micro-moments in consciousness function as gateways, offering glimpses of patterns, connections, and possibilities that otherwise remain hidden. The emotional impact of realizing this is immense. We are not passive observers of life, but participants in an intricate, unseen choreography that unfolds in the gaps between perception and action. Consciousness also shapes memory, influencing which moments are retained and which fade. Neuroplasticity ensures that the brain prioritizes experiences with emotional significance, often determined by fleeting micro-moments. A brief encounter, a subtle gesture, a nearly forgotten word can leave an imprint far more profound than a prolonged event. Cinematic storytelling captures this through slow pans, lingering shots, and the juxtaposition of past and present. Memories flicker like shadows, sometimes revealing hidden patterns or insights, emphasizing the interplay between consciousness and time. Each recollection reminds us that what is remembered is only part of the story. The forgotten universe between moments quietly continues to influence perception and action. The philosophical and scientific implications of this are staggering. If consciousness operates in discrete, fleeting intervals, then the very foundation of subjective experience is composed of what is barely perceptible. Awareness is a collection of micro-events, a mosaic of milliseconds that together construct reality. The contrast between what is experienced and what occurs unseen evokes both wonder and unease. On one hand, there is awe at the elegance and intricacy of the mind's processes. On the other, a subtle fear emerges, acknowledging how much of life passes unnoticed, how much influence lies beyond immediate comprehension. As this exploration deepens, the audience begins to appreciate the delicate interplay between consciousness and the universe. The micro-moments of awareness are not passive, they participate in the ongoing creation of reality. The narrative tension rises as viewers recognize that perception is both gateway and filter, shaping the way the world unfolds around them. Cinematic imagery reinforces this tension. Slow-motion sequences of fleeting expressions, light shifting across a room, shadows dancing on walls, all reflect the transient yet potent power of consciousness in the spaces between moments. By the end of this section, the audience is immersed in the mystery and complexity of awareness. Consciousness is revealed as a dynamic, fragile, and infinitely intricate phenomenon, hovering on the edge of perception, bridging the visible and invisible. It is in these intervals, these milliseconds of thought, attention, and sensation, that the mind touches the hidden universe, shaping reality in ways both subtle and profound. The stage is set for the exploration of choice, decision, and the spaces between actions, where the interplay of consciousness and micromoments will reveal even deeper layers of mystery and wonder. Every choice we make, no matter how trivial it seems, unfolds in a hidden space that is almost imperceptible. These are the moments before decisions are consciously registered, the microseconds when intuition, impulse, and unseen influences converge. Neuroscience calls this the decision gap, an interval so brief that it escapes normal awareness, yet within it, entire chains of consequence are set in motion. Imagine standing at a busy intersection, your foot hovering above the crosswalk line. The light is about to change. A glance at a passing car, a flicker of thought, a fleeting sense of caution, these imperceptible cues determine whether you step forward or hesitate. In that minuscule span, the potential for countless outcomes exists, a web of possibilities poised on the edge of action. Cinematic imagery brings this tension to life. Picture a hand suspended mid-air, reaching for a cup of water, the light glinting off the rim, a breath caught in the chest. The world seems to pause, yet beneath this pause, invisible forces, the mind's calculations, instinctual reactions, environmental cues, intertwine. The suspense is palpable, not only for the person making the decision but for the observer, the audience immersed in the unfolding microcosm. Every heartbeat, every neuron firing, every subtle movement contributes to a chain reaction whose consequences may ripple far beyond the immediate moment. The ordinary act of deciding suddenly becomes monumental, filled with unseen drama and cosmic resonance. The science behind these intervals is both fascinating and humbling. Studies using brain imaging show that neural activity often predicts a decision before the conscious mind is aware of making it. Split-second judgments, micro-expressions, and subconscious calculations silently influence outcomes. Philosophers have long debated the implications. If choices arise from unseen processes, how much agency do we truly possess? Yet this hidden complexity does not diminish human experience, rather, it enhances its mystery and depth. The spaces between decision and action are where the unseen universe of potentiality meets the fragile architecture of human intention. Emotion heightens the significance of these micro-moments. Anxiety, anticipation, excitement, or doubt flare within the decision gap. A fleeting pause before speaking can alter the trajectory of a relationship. A fraction of a second hesitation before acting can avert disaster or invite opportunity. Cinematic storytelling captures this with close-ups of eyes shifting, hands trembling, a shallow breath drawn and held. The tension resonates with the audience, allowing them to feel the stakes of invisible micro-moments. Every pause becomes a landscape of suspense, every hesitation a universe of possibility, evoking both awe and a subtle sense of fear. Life itself is composed of these micro-moments of choice. Across history, trivial decisions have generated monumental consequences. A general hesitating on a battlefield, a writer pausing before a single word, an explorer stepping back from a path, each decision, seemingly inconsequential, has shaped events in ways no one could have predicted. The contrast between apparent triviality and hidden significance is profound. The ordinary act of choosing reveals itself as an epic narrative played out in milliseconds. Cinematic depictions of these moments allow the audience to perceive the invisible forces guiding life's trajectories, bridging personal experience with universal patterns of cause and effect. The decision gap also connects intimately with time and perception. When milliseconds stretch and consciousness hovers between impulse and action, our awareness sharpens. The brain accelerates processing, attention focuses on subtle cues, and instinctive judgment becomes intertwined with deliberation. These intervals demonstrate how life exists not only in completed actions but in the tension of anticipation, in the threshold between intention and execution. Slow-motion cinematic sequences, an eye tracking a shifting object, a hand paused mid-motion, a droplet of water suspended, mirror the heightened perception inherent in these micro-moments. They render visible the invisible, turning fleeting intervals into cinematic experiences of suspense, insight, and wonder. Philosophical inquiry deepens the resonance of these moments. Thinkers from across cultures have reflected on the significance of choice, the threshold between thought and action, and the subtle forces that influence outcomes. Eastern philosophies emphasize mindfulness and awareness, cultivating sensitivity to these micromoments to better understand life's flow. Western thinkers explore free will, causality, and the hidden mechanics of decision-making. Both perspectives converge on the idea that what we perceive as ordinary action is in fact the culmination of countless unseen forces operating in the hidden spaces between intention and execution. The decision gap is thus a nexus where science, philosophy, and lived experience intersect, revealing the delicate architecture of agency itself. Emotion, cognition, and suspense converge in these thresholds. Fear and hope coexist, for each hesitation holds risk and opportunity. A simple decision can save or endanger life, create or dissolve relationships, transform circumstances in ways invisible at the moment. Cinematic narration captures this interplay, a slow pan across a city street at night, a momentary pause before stepping into a doorway, the subtle tightening of muscles as tension mounts. Audiences are drawn into the drama of ordinary life, realizing that reality itself is composed of these hidden, high-stakes intervals, and that the unseen universe of choice operates continuously around and within them. By the end of this section, the audience begins to grasp the profound significance of micromoments in shaping both personal and universal narratives. Every hesitation, pause, or split-second decision contributes to the unseen currents of reality, weaving together cause, consequence, and possibility. The ordinary becomes extraordinary, and the tension between what is seen and what is hidden deepens, preparing viewers for the exploration of memory, forgotten moments, and the unseen patterns that silently guide life and consciousness. The stage is set. The decision gap is not merely a pause in action, but a portal into the invisible universe that exists between all moments, shaping existence in ways both subtle and immense. Memory is a fragile archive, a repository of moments captured, distorted, or lost. Every human experience leaves an imprint, yet much of it fades almost instantly, slipping into the shadows of forgetfulness. Consider a single day, dozens of conversations, countless sensory impressions, fleeting emotions, hundreds of micromoments that occur in the spaces between seconds. Some are preserved in vivid clarity, while others dissolve without notice, their existence only hinted at by subtle shifts in feeling or intuition. The forgotten universe of these lost moments is immense, a hidden tapestry that shapes our consciousness, emotions, and understanding of reality. Cinematic imagery makes this tangible: sunlight spilling across a table, a half-remembered word, the fleeting smile of a stranger. These fragments linger at the edges of perception, haunting yet intangible, ephemeral yet deeply significant. The science of memory reveals its intricate mechanics. Neuroscience demonstrates that experiences are not recorded like a video camera but reconstructed each time they are recalled. The brain selectively preserves what it deems significant, often influenced by emotion, attention, and context. Micromoments that seem trivial in the present may later resurface with profound clarity, while ostensibly important events vanish from conscious awareness. This process emphasizes the power of the unnoticed. The tiny pauses, hesitations, or glances that escape immediate perception can become essential threads in the fabric of personal identity. In this way, the forgotten universe of memory is not empty. It is active, shaping thought, decision, and emotion in ways we rarely acknowledge. The emotional resonance of forgotten moments is profound. Nostalgia, regret, joy, and longing often arise from fragments barely remembered, flashes of experience that hover at the edge of consciousness. A smell, a sound, a fleeting touch can evoke entire worlds of feeling, instantly transporting the mind to a distant time or place. Cinematic storytelling captures this with lingering close-ups, a hand brushing a weathered photograph, a droplet of rain tracing the curve of a window, the half-formed recollection of a childhood street. Each frame conveys both the beauty and fragility of memory, highlighting the contrast between what is remembered vividly and what is lost to the forgotten spaces between moments. The emotional tension underscores the significance of micro-events, revealing that life's most profound impacts often occur unnoticed, hidden in intervals too brief to capture consciously. Memory also bridges the personal and the universal. While each individual experiences the world subjectively, the mechanisms of remembering and forgetting are shared. Cultures, histories, and civilizations are constructed through selective preservation of events and experiences. What is recorded, documented, or retold becomes the narrative of human existence, while countless micromoments fade into oblivion. This interplay between remembrance and forgetting emphasizes the hidden architecture of life. The majority of experience exists in shadows, influencing outcomes, decisions, and perceptions indirectly. Cinematic visualization of this dynamic might show fading photographs, layered voices, or time-lapse sequences where landscapes evolve while human figures appear and vanish, illustrating the delicate dance between memory and impermanence. Philosophical perspectives illuminate the mystery further. Thinkers have long contemplated the ephemeral nature of existence, noting that life's meaning often resides not in what is explicitly remembered but in what is subtly felt, intuited, or inferred. Eastern philosophies, for example, emphasize impermanence, encouraging mindfulness of the present while recognizing that memory is a fluid, dynamic process. Western thought explores the construction of identity through recollection, suggesting that who we are is inseparable from what we remember, and, crucially, what we forget. In this light, the forgotten universe between moments becomes a hidden dimension of consciousness, shaping personality, perception, and emotional experience. The cinematic tension emerges when contrasting vivid memories with forgotten ones. A character may recall a single moment from decades ago with perfect clarity, while surrounding events fade to indistinct shadows. A child's laugh echoes across a blurred landscape, a brief gesture holds more emotional weight than an entire day of conscious awareness, a whispered word alters relationships long after it is spoken. These contrasts heighten the emotional impact, allowing the audience to feel the invisible power of micromoments. Life itself becomes a study in impermanence, where the lost and the remembered coexist, shaping understanding and perception in tandem. Memory's connection to the unseen universe of micromoments highlights the interplay between consciousness and reality. Each forgotten event contributes to the underlying structure of thought, emotion, and behavior. Our decisions, preferences, and reactions are subtly guided by experiences that may never be consciously recalled. The cinematic metaphor is compelling. Like shadows stretching across a room, these hidden influences are omnipresent yet unseen, shaping outcomes and guiding perception. The narrative tension arises from awareness of this invisible hand, the realization that reality is composed not only of the moments we notice but of countless micro-events that slip silently into the forgotten. Emotion amplifies the significance of these hidden moments. There is awe in recognizing that life is far richer and more intricate than surface experience suggests. There is melancholy in realizing how much of existence passes unnoticed, shaping identity and consequence without acknowledgement. And there is hope. Within the forgotten universe lie potential insights, patterns, and connections waiting to be discovered, glimpses of beauty and meaning hidden in imperceptible spaces. Cinematic techniques, slow pans, dissolving images, layered soundscapes, heighten these feelings, drawing the audience into the profound, invisible architecture of memory and micromoments. As this section concludes, viewers begin to see that memory is not a simple record of events but a living, dynamic landscape. The interplay of remembered and forgotten moments shapes perception, emotion, and identity, while highlighting the hidden universe that operates in the spaces between. Micromoments, often unnoticed in the present, leave echoes that ripple through the mind and life, influencing thought, choice, and experience. The stage is now set for a shift from human consciousness to cosmic rhythms, connecting the invisible patterns of memory and decision-making to the broader architecture of the universe itself, where even galaxies, stars, and planets pulse with intervals and cycles beyond ordinary perception. The universe itself pulses with rhythms and patterns that mirror the hidden spaces between human moments. Across the cosmos, celestial bodies move with precision yet exist in a delicate balance between predictability and chaos. Stars ignite and die, planets orbit, and galaxies spin, all governed by forces both visible and invisible. Yet within these grand motions lie intervals that escape ordinary perception. The imperceptible flicker of a distant star, the brief gravitational tug between planets, the fraction of a second alignment of celestial bodies. These micro-events shape cosmic trajectories in ways that may take eons to fully unfold. The cinematic potential of these hidden rhythms is staggering. Imagine a camera sweeping across a galaxy, capturing the gentle sway of a nebula, the silent collision of asteroids, the quiet birth of a star in a distant cloud of gas. Each frame suggests that even the vastness of space is composed of micromoments, invisible yet profoundly consequential. The emotional resonance of observing these cosmic micromoments is profound. Awe emerges from the recognition of the universe's scale, complexity, and hidden dynamism. At the same time, a subtle fear lingers, a sense of fragility. What we perceive as stable and eternal is in reality shaped by countless imperceptible interactions. A slight imbalance, a tiny fluctuation, or an overlooked force can cascade across space and time, subtly influencing the fate of stars, planets, and potentially life itself. Cinematic sequences enhance this awareness, with sweeping visuals of cosmic dust spiraling, stars pulsing faintly, and light bending around massive celestial bodies. Each micro-event in the cosmos reflects the hidden universe of our own perception and consciousness, linking the smallest moments with the largest scales of reality. Physics reveals that these intervals are not trivial. Quantum fluctuations occur even in the vacuum of space, influencing the formation of galaxies and the evolution of matter. Gravitational waves ripple through the cosmos, passing unnoticed for millennia, yet subtly affecting planetary and stellar motion. These phenomena echo the micro-moments of consciousness and memory, imperceptible to ordinary perception but shaping reality in profound ways. The cosmos, like the mind, is a tapestry woven from countless hidden threads, a living, dynamic system where micro-events ripple across time and space. This connection between cosmic and human scales evokes both wonder and humility, emphasizing that life itself is part of a continuum that stretches far beyond our ordinary experience. Contrast heightens the cinematic effect. On the one hand, the universe appears serene and orderly, planets revolve predictably, stars burn with steady light. On the other hand, beneath this apparent stability lies a chaotic interplay of forces, collapsing matter, supernova explosions, and the constant flux of energy and momentum. Observing the invisible micro-events at the heart of these processes creates tension and awe, inviting the audience to perceive the universe as a living, unpredictable system. The familiar is juxtaposed with the extraordinary, revealing hidden layers of complexity and the delicate balance underlying cosmic stability. These contrasts engage emotion and intellect simultaneously, mirroring the tension we experience in human micro-moments and decision gaps. Cinematic storytelling allows the viewer to experience these invisible rhythms emotionally, not just intellectually. Slow-motion sequences of collapsing stars, drifting asteroids, or light bending around massive celestial objects make visible what is normally imperceptible. Soundscapes of faint cosmic hums, gravitational pulses, or the eerie silence of interstellar space heighten immersion. This synthesis of visual and auditory elements conveys the hidden micro-events that shape the cosmos, evoking awe, curiosity, and even subtle unease. The audience feels the tension between apparent continuity and underlying uncertainty, connecting the rhythms of the universe with the micro-moments of their own consciousness. Philosophically, these cosmic intervals invite reflection on human life and perception. Just as stars and planets experience micro-events invisible to ordinary observation, humans operate in a sea of unnoticed influences, decisions, and moments. The universe, in its vastness, mirrors our own inner reality. The seen is only a fraction of existence, while the unseen shapes outcomes in profound and often unpredictable ways. This connection reinforces the narrative thread established in previous sections. Consciousness, memory, decision-making, and perception are all interwoven with patterns of unseen influence, from the microcosm to the macrocosm. The contrast between human awareness and cosmic scale deepens the audience's sense of wonder, encouraging reflection on the fragile yet profound nature of existence. Emotion and suspense emerge from this awareness. Recognizing that even distant, imperceptible micro-events can ripple across the universe evokes awe, humility, and a sense of interconnectedness. The tension between apparent stability and hidden dynamism mirrors human experience, where unseen choices, forgotten moments, and split-second decisions shape life in ways beyond immediate perception. Cinematic techniques, layering visuals, alternating between the vast and the intimate, using slow pans and extreme close-ups, immerse the audience in both scale and subtlety, making the invisible pulse of the cosmos palpable and emotionally resonant. By the end of this section, viewers begin to perceive the universe not as a static backdrop but as an active participant in the unfolding of reality. Every flicker, every pulse, every imperceptible interaction contributes to the tapestry of existence, linking the micro-moments of human life with the grand rhythms of cosmic events. The stage is set for a deeper exploration of time, causality, and the hidden interconnections that weave together consciousness, memory, choice, and the vast, dynamic universe itself. The audience is primed to understand that the spaces between moments, both human and cosmic, contain extraordinary meaning, subtle influence, and profound potential. Time is not a river flowing uniformly, it is a layered, multidimensional construct, interwoven with perception, memory, and the unseen forces that shape both human consciousness and the cosmos. Our experience of time is malleable, stretching and compressing depending on attention, emotion, and circumstance. A moment of fear can feel eternal, while hours of monotony slip by unnoticed. Neuroscience reveals that the brain processes time not as a continuous stream but in discrete snapshots, integrating sensory input into coherent narratives. In this way, the now is not a single point but a patchwork of micro-moments, stitched together by perception, memory, and expectation. Each interval carries potential. What occurs between one perception and the next can alter thought, action, and experience in ways imperceptible yet profound. Cinematic imagery brings this dynamic to life. Picture a raindrop suspended mid-fall, sunlight refracting through it, the world blurring around its edges. Time seems to stretch, revealing a universe normally invisible, the swirl of particles in the air, the trembling of leaves, the pulse of life around the observer. Each suspended frame is a microcosm, a hidden interval where action, consequence, and perception intersect. The audience experiences the tension of a single moment, aware that every imperceptible shift carries potential significance. Time, in this context, becomes both tangible and cinematic, a canvas upon which life's hidden dramas unfold. Physics deepens our understanding of these temporal layers. Einstein's theory of relativity demonstrated that time is not absolute but relative, influenced by velocity, gravity, and the observer's frame of reference. Time bends, stretches, and contracts across the cosmos, linking human perception with the dynamics of the universe. Quantum mechanics adds another layer. At the smallest scales, events do not unfold sequentially but probabilistically, with outcomes influenced by measurement and observation. The universe at its core is a network of micro-events, intervals, and uncertainties, echoing the hidden moments within human consciousness. Cinematic storytelling can illustrate this with overlapping sequences, a human heartbeat synchronized with a pulsating star, a raindrop mirrored by a falling particle, a breath aligning with the subtle motion of distant celestial bodies. These juxtapositions reveal the interconnectedness of time across scales, from the personal to the cosmic. Emotion amplifies the significance of temporal awareness. The realization that time is constructed, fractured, and malleable evokes awe and vulnerability. Moments of hesitation, anticipation, or reflection gain new weight. They are not merely points along a timeline but nodes of possibility, each capable of influencing outcomes far beyond immediate perception. Cinematic close-ups, an eye darting, a hand pausing mid-motion, a chest rising with tension, convey this internal experience, drawing the audience into the subjective elasticity of time. Suspense arises naturally, viewers feel the potential for impact, the invisible consequences that unfold in the spaces between observable events. Memory, intertwined with time, deepens the narrative complexity. Every recollection reconstructs reality, selectively preserving certain intervals while letting others fade. Forgotten moments, micro-decisions, and imperceptible shifts leave traces in neural pathways, subtly shaping future perception and action. The interplay of remembered and forgotten events highlights the invisible architecture of existence, where time is both experienced and constructed. Cinematic techniques, flashbacks, dissolving images, and layered soundscapes, convey the fluidity of temporal perception, showing how past, present, and potential futures coexist and interact within consciousness. These visual and auditory metaphors transform abstract concepts into emotionally resonant storytelling. Philosophical perspectives emphasize the profundity of time's hidden structures. Eastern thought often frames time as cyclical, emphasizing mindfulness and presence within each fleeting instant. Western philosophy tends to treat time linearly, exploring causality, consequence, and the construction of narrative identity. Yet both traditions converge on a striking insight. Life's richness is found not only in what is observed but in what occurs in the intervals between awareness. The invisible universe between moments shapes thought, behavior, and meaning, creating a complex interplay between the individual, society, and the cosmos. Cinematic storytelling can make this philosophy tangible, using visual contrasts, long, flowing sequences juxtaposed with brief, fleeting frames, to highlight the rhythm of existence across scales. The hidden structure of time also shapes choice and consequence. Each micro-moment of perception, hesitation, or decision creates ripples that influence the trajectory of life. A glance, a pause, or a fleeting thought can alter outcomes in ways imperceptible at the moment but monumental in retrospect. Cinematic narration emphasizes this by slowing motion, lingering on subtle gestures, and amplifying sound to draw attention to otherwise unnoticed intervals. The audience experiences the tension and significance of these temporal micro-events, recognizing that reality is constructed in the spaces between perception and action, between choice and consequence. Emotion, suspense, and awe converge in the exploration of temporal micro-moments. Awareness of time's elasticity heightens engagement, as the audience perceives both the fragility and the power contained within each instant. A second can be decisive, a pause transformative, a micro-moment potentially reshaping personal experience or even historical trajectories. Cinematic techniques, slow pans across landscapes, close-ups on subtle expressions, intercutting of parallel actions, bring this hidden drama to life, bridging intellect with emotional resonance. The audience is not only informed but immersed, feeling the pulse of time as it ripples through consciousness and the cosmos alike. As this section concludes, viewers understand that time is neither absolute nor continuous, but a layered, malleable construct shaped by perception, consciousness, and unseen influences. Each micro-moment carries profound potential, linking human experience to the rhythms of the universe. The audience is primed to explore further, the interplay between choice, memory, consciousness, and cosmic rhythms, and the hidden universe that exists between all moments. The stage is set for deeper revelations, where the micro-moments of perception, decision, and memory converge to shape the unfolding story of life itself. Silence is not empty, it is a living, vibrating presence, a space where the unseen universe between moments reveals itself most clearly. In everyday life, silence is fleeting, filled with the pauses between words, the hesitation before action, the brief stillness of a breath. Yet these intervals, almost imperceptible, are charged with potential. Consider the stillness before dawn. The world waits in a quiet hush, trees swaying gently, birds pausing in midsong, dew clinging to leaves. In this suspended moment, the universe itself seems to hold its breath, and the hidden structures of reality, the forces that shape perception, memory, and action, become palpable. Cinematic imagery transforms this silence into a narrative device, where anticipation, mystery, and emotion converge. Science reveals that these quiet intervals are profoundly influential. Neurobiology shows that the brain is constantly active, even in moments of apparent stillness. Neural networks fire, processing past experiences, predicting future outcomes, and integrating micromoments into coherent narratives. Silence, then, is not emptiness but a fertile field where thought, memory, and perception converge. It is within these intervals that the mind often forms insights, solves problems, or experiences heightened awareness. Cinematically, this can be depicted through slow-motion sequences, lingering close-ups, and the subtle interplay of light and shadow, emphasizing that the most transformative events often occur in the spaces we scarcely notice. Emotion intensifies in the presence of silence. The pause before speech, the hesitation before action, or the fleeting void between sounds evokes tension, anticipation, and curiosity. A hand hovering over a doorknob, a gaze fixed on an approaching figure, a breath caught mid-chest, all convey micro-moments charged with significance. The audience experiences suspense and wonder simultaneously, understanding that within silence lies the potential for both catastrophe and revelation. These micro-moments echo across human experience. The unspoken word, the paused decision, the fleeting realization, all shape perception and consequence in ways often invisible at the time. The cinematic tension of silence is enhanced by contrast. Sound and motion can dominate our perception, yet when they vanish, the unseen and the unknown emerge. A shadowed alley, a darkened room, or the void between stars becomes a stage where the hidden universe unfolds. In these pauses, micro-moments ripple outward, influencing the visible world in subtle but profound ways. The narrative power lies in what is withheld, the unseen forces, the unspoken truths, the imperceptible shifts that guide events. Audiences are drawn into the mystery, their attention heightened, their emotions amplified, aware that the invisible universe is at work even in apparent stillness. Philosophical perspectives illuminate the richness of these silent intervals. Eastern traditions often emphasize mindfulness, teaching that awareness of the present moment reveals a hidden depth to existence. Western thought explores the liminal spaces between action and reflection, between intention and outcome. Both converge on a striking insight: silence is never empty. It is a threshold, a liminal space where perception, memory, and potentiality intersect. Cinematic storytelling brings this philosophy to life. Light filtering through a window illuminates dust motes dancing in the air, a ripple moves across a pond, a single leaf hovers before settling, all reflecting the hidden activity within what appears still. Silence also shapes memory and consciousness. In these quiet intervals, experiences are encoded, connections formed, and insights emerge. Moments that seem trivial at the time may later reveal their significance, echoing through thought and behavior. A brief hesitation before responding to a loved one, a silent pause while observing nature, or the micro-moment before an important choice, all contribute to the mosaic of consciousness. Cinematic techniques, such as slow pans, layered audio, and alternating perspectives, allow audiences to perceive these invisible processes. They highlight the interplay between stillness and action, the hidden influence of silence on the unfolding of life and narrative. Emotion and suspense converge in the exploration of silent micro-moments. The audience feels the weight of anticipation, the tension of potential, and the subtle power of unobserved influence. A single heartbeat, a fleeting shadow, a suspended hand becomes a universe unto itself, a microcosm where unseen forces operate. Cinematic storytelling magnifies these moments, drawing attention to the invisible universe that exists in the gaps between perception and action. The effect is both intellectually stimulating and emotionally resonant. Viewers understand that silence is alive, charged with the power to shape thought, action, and consequence. The contrast between silence and sound, stillness and motion, illuminates the hidden architecture of reality. Life unfolds not only in what is observed but in the intervals that escape perception. Micro-moments within silence carry consequences that may not be immediately visible but ripple outward, influencing thought, behavior, and experience. The cinematic depiction of these intervals emphasizes suspense, emotion, and awareness, allowing audiences to engage deeply with the narrative. Silence becomes both a lens and a stage. Through it, the hidden universe between moments is revealed, its rhythms, forces, and possibilities laid bare. As this section concludes, viewers recognize that silence is not emptiness but a vibrant, potent presence. It is within these quiet intervals that the hidden universe reveals itself most clearly, shaping perception, memory, and the flow of events. The audience is primed to understand the profound significance of micro-moments, the invisible forces at work, and the interplay between stillness and action. The stage is set for deeper exploration, the interconnected web of consciousness, memory, choice, time, and the unseen universe that operates within and beyond human awareness. Cinematic storytelling ensures that silence, far from being passive, is experienced as a living, dynamic, and transformative presence. Patterns govern the universe, often hidden beneath the surface of perception, waiting to be discerned in the spaces between moments. From the microscopic flicker of a quantum particle to the spiraling grandeur of galaxies, these patterns provide order to apparent chaos. Yet they are not rigid, they are dynamic, adaptive, and alive, responding to forces both visible and invisible. Consider the flow of a river. Water moves unpredictably, forming eddies, ripples, and currents, yet over time it carves valleys, shapes landscapes, and sustains life along its banks. The patterns exist not in individual drops, but in the interaction of countless micro-events unfolding over time. Cinematically, this can be captured with sweeping visuals: water swirling over stones, light refracting through mist, clouds drifting in layered currents, all illustrating the hidden geometry of reality. Mathematics and physics reveal that these patterns are foundational to existence. Fractals, chaos theory, and quantum mechanics illustrate that the universe is structured by recurring motifs, self-similar across scales. A single snowflake mirrors patterns found in trees, rivers, and clouds. A particle behaves in ways that echo across quantum fields and cosmological structures. These repetitions and symmetries reveal the invisible scaffolding underlying reality, suggesting that even the most fleeting micro-moments in human experience are linked to universal rhythms. Cinematic storytelling can visualize this through mirrored sequences, kaleidoscopic imagery, or overlapping time-lapses, emphasizing that the unseen universe is organized, patterned, and profoundly interconnected. Emotion arises when these hidden patterns intersect with human perception. The recognition of order within apparent chaos evokes awe, wonder, and sometimes fear. A lightning storm, a starry night, or the gentle fall of leaves can stir profound resonance, revealing the universe's subtle architecture in ways the conscious mind cannot fully articulate. Cinematically, these moments are heightened by contrast: the quiet stillness of a forest against the violent energy of a storm, the intimacy of a human gesture juxtaposed with the vastness of a celestial event. Audiences perceive the invisible threads linking micro-moments, human experience, and cosmic rhythms, creating emotional depth and narrative tension. Patterns are also intimately connected to consciousness and memory. The mind recognizes repetition, anticipates sequences, and finds meaning in structure. Neural networks are wired to detect rhythms, correlations, and anomalies, allowing humans to navigate complex environments and social systems. Micro-moments that initially seem random are often part of larger patterns that only become evident in retrospect. A fleeting glance, a paused gesture, or an unspoken word may resonate within a network of memories and associations, forming connections that subtly guide perception and action. Cinematic techniques, layered imagery, overlapping timelines, and recurring motifs allow audiences to experience the recognition of these hidden patterns, bridging intellect and emotion. Philosophical perspectives reinforce the significance of patterns. Eastern philosophies often highlight cyclical patterns in life, emphasizing interconnectedness, balance, and harmony. Western thought frequently emphasizes causality and the predictability of natural laws, yet modern science reveals complexity and probabilistic behavior at fundamental levels. Both perspectives converge on a profound insight. Life and consciousness unfold within an intricate web of patterns, where micro-moments, though seemingly insignificant, contribute to the emergent order of existence. Cinematic storytelling can make these ideas tangible, using visual parallels between human activity, natural systems, and cosmic events to illustrate the hidden geometry that connects all scales of reality. The suspense of patterns lies in their imperceptibility. Micro-moments operate in silence, leaving traces that are not immediately visible. Yet their cumulative effects shape outcomes, behaviors, and perception. A neuron firing, a pause before a decision, or a momentary hesitation in movement can influence subsequent events in profound ways. Similarly, in nature, minor fluctuations, a shift in wind, a slight change in temperature, the subtle movement of particles, can ripple outward, influencing weather, ecosystems, or even the course of a river. Cinematic imagery emphasizes this ripple effect. A pebble dropped in water expands into widening circles, leaves fall and are carried downstream, shadows stretch and dissolve. These sequences reveal the hidden power of micro-moments and the patterns they generate. Emotion is heightened when humans perceive these invisible threads. Recognition of order amidst chaos brings awe and humility. There is tension in realizing that micro-moments shape outcomes in ways both subtle and profound. A brief glance, a whispered thought, or a fleeting hesitation may resonate across time and space, linking individual action to broader patterns. Cinematic techniques, slow motion, extreme close-ups, layered soundscapes, immerse viewers in the unseen rhythm of reality, allowing them to feel the invisible forces that guide life and consciousness. The interplay between uncertainty and emergent order evokes wonder and intellectual curiosity, making the narrative both emotionally compelling and intellectually engaging. Patterns also provide a bridge between human experience and cosmic structure. The micro-events of daily life, choices, memories, emotions, mirror the macro-events of the universe, stellar evolution, planetary orbits, and quantum fluctuations. Both scales reveal the same principle. Complexity emerges from the interaction of countless small, often imperceptible components. Cinematic storytelling can visualize this through parallel sequences, a heartbeat mirrored by a pulsing star, a human gesture echoed in the movement of waves, or the branching of neurons reflected in the spread of tree roots. These juxtapositions create a sense of continuity, emphasizing that the hidden universe between moments operates at all levels, connecting human experience to the cosmos itself. By the end of this section, audiences understand that patterns are the invisible threads binding micro-moments, consciousness, memory, and the cosmos. They reveal the hidden architecture of reality, providing coherence, meaning, and resonance to both human experience and the universe at large. Suspense, awe, and intellectual curiosity are heightened as viewers recognize that even the smallest, unnoticed events participate in emergent order. The stage is now set for a deeper exploration of interconnectedness, causality, and the delicate web of influence that links micro-moments to universal rhythms. The audience is prepared to perceive the hidden universe as an intricate, living tapestry, woven from the delicate interplay of moments both seen and unseen. Interconnectedness is the silent thread that binds the universe, linking micro-moments of human experience with the vast rhythms of the cosmos. Every action, thought, and sensation resonates outward, interacting with other events in ways that often remain imperceptible. The flutter of a butterfly's wings, the brief hesitation before a word is spoken, a star's imperceptible gravitational tug, these micro-events ripple across time and space, shaping outcomes far beyond what is immediately visible. Cinematically, this can be represented through overlapping sequences, a leaf drifting in the wind mirrored by a star drifting in the night sky, a human heartbeat synchronized with a distant pulse of light from a galaxy. Each visual metaphor conveys the hidden web of interconnection that structures reality, highlighting the profound impact of even the smallest intervals. Science illuminates this interconnectedness through physics, biology, and ecology. In quantum mechanics, entangled particles influence each other instantaneously, regardless of distance, suggesting that separation is an illusion. Ecological systems demonstrate how tiny changes can ripple across habitats, affecting countless species and environmental processes. Neural networks within the human brain reveal that cognition and perception are dependent on intricate, interconnected firing patterns, where even minor fluctuations can alter thought and behavior. These examples illustrate that interconnectedness is not abstract, it is a tangible, dynamic feature of reality. Cinematic techniques can bring this to life. Sequences where particles, neurons, or celestial bodies move in harmony, interwoven with human gestures, emphasizing the profound resonance of micromoments across scales. Emotion intensifies the perception of these hidden connections. Recognition of interconnectedness evokes awe, humility, and wonder. A subtle shift, a glance, a breath, a thought, becomes laden with significance, linking the observer to unseen forces and distant events. Cinematic storytelling heightens this experience by using slow pans, layered soundscapes, and visual parallels, allowing the audience to perceive the invisible currents of influence that traverse time and space. Suspense arises naturally. Viewers sense that unseen forces are at play, guiding, shaping, and amplifying the impact of even the most subtle micromoments. The emotional resonance lies in the realization that life is an intricate web of relationships, patterns, and cause and effect sequences, many of which remain hidden from ordinary perception. Philosophy reinforces the significance of interconnectedness. Eastern traditions often frame reality as a web of interdependent phenomena, where every action reverberates across existence. Western thought emphasizes causality, systems theory, and the emergent properties of complex networks, recognizing that individual components cannot be fully understood in isolation. Both perspectives converge on the understanding that reality is composed of intertwined threads, from the smallest micromoments of perception to the grand scale of cosmic events. Cinematic storytelling can embody this philosophy through visual motifs, overlapping hands, branching rivers, networks of light, or interweaving shadows, each representing the invisible links that unite moments, actions, and entities across time and space. Memory and consciousness are deeply affected by interconnectedness. Every recollection, decision, and micromoment interacts with others, creating feedback loops that shape perception, identity, and behavior. A fleeting hesitation can resonate through memory, influencing future choices. An unobserved glance, a microreaction, or an unnoticed environmental cue may trigger a cascade of outcomes, both subtle and profound. Cinematic techniques, layering flashbacks, intercutting sequences, and using mirrored imagery, allow audiences to perceive the invisible threads connecting moments across time. This reinforces the narrative that life's fabric is woven not from isolated events but from a continuous interplay of interconnected micromoments, memory, and perception. The suspense of interconnectedness lies in its imperceptibility. Micromoments operate beneath the threshold of awareness, yet their cumulative effects can be monumental. A decision made without conscious deliberation may influence relationships, careers, or historical trajectories. A microscopic fluctuation in a quantum system can ripple outward to shape matter, energy, and time. Cinematic visualization emphasizes these hidden impacts, a finger hovering over a piano key mirrored by a ripple in a pond, a whispered word juxtaposed with a shadow drifting across a wall, subtle shifts in one element affecting a larger system. These juxtapositions convey both the power and mystery of interconnectedness, engaging the audience emotionally and intellectually. Emotion, awe, and intellectual curiosity converge in the exploration of these connections. Recognizing that life's micromoments are linked to the vast, unfolding patterns of existence evokes wonder and humility. Suspense arises from the hidden influence of seemingly trivial actions, and resonance emerges from the realization that each moment, though fleeting, participates in a complex dance that spans perception, memory, and cosmic scale. Cinematic techniques, slow motion, extreme close-ups, sound layering, and overlapping visual motifs immerse the audience in the invisible network that structures reality, transforming abstract concepts into visceral experiences. As this section concludes, viewers grasp that interconnectedness is not abstract theory but a tangible, dynamic property of existence. Every micromoment, decision, and perception contributes to the unfolding of reality, linking human experience with broader systems in ways both subtle and profound. The stage is set for the next exploration, the relationship between causality, consequence, and the unseen forces that operate across time and space. Audiences are now prepared to understand that the hidden universe between moments is not a void but a living, dynamic network, alive with influence, resonance, and meaning. Causality is the invisible thread that links micromoments to their consequences, binding time, memory, and action into a coherent narrative. Every choice, hesitation, or impulse initiates a chain reaction, cascading through reality in ways both immediate and imperceptibly distant. Picture a raindrop falling onto a leaf. It disturbs a tiny insect, whose movement triggers a sequence of events that, in ways unseen, reverberates through the ecosystem. On a human scale, a whispered word can alter a relationship, a glance can shift a decision, and a single micro-moment of hesitation can change the course of history. Cinematically, these chains of cause and effect can be illustrated through interwoven sequences. One character's small gesture mirrored by cascading ripples in water, shadows stretching and connecting across different spaces, or particles scattering and recombining to form new patterns. The audience begins to perceive causality as a living, dynamic force, intimately linked to micro-moments and the hidden universe between them. Science elucidates the mechanics of causality, demonstrating that even infinitesimal actions can produce significant consequences. Chaos theory highlights the sensitivity of complex systems to initial conditions, famously exemplified by the butterfly effect. Minor variations amplify over time, producing outcomes that seem unpredictable yet are determined by earlier micro-events. Neuroscience shows that decisions arise from networks of neurons firing in precise sequences, influenced by prior experience, environmental cues, and unconscious processing. Each micro-moment, though imperceptible, shapes subsequent events, producing a cascading network of influence. Cinematic storytelling captures this through parallel editing. One scene mirrors another, one small movement leads to a dramatic shift, emphasizing the delicate interplay between cause and effect across scales of time and perception. Emotion heightens the impact of causality. Recognizing that seemingly insignificant moments carry the potential for profound consequences evokes awe, tension, and even fear. Every pause, glance, or micro-decision holds the power to ripple outward, altering outcomes in ways that are invisible at first but monumental in retrospect. Cinematic techniques such as slow-motion close-ups, LED soundscapes, and the juxtaposition of parallel timelines allow audiences to viscerally experience the weight of micro-moments. The audience perceives not only the action itself but also the cascading chain of unseen consequences that extend outward, emphasizing the tension and significance of the hidden universe between moments. Causality is intertwined with memory and perception. The brain continuously reconstructs events, encoding micro-moments into memory while highlighting or suppressing certain details. Forgotten intervals may later emerge as pivotal influences, shaping decision-making, emotional responses, and understanding of past experiences. Cinematic flashbacks, intercut sequences, and visual motifs illustrate this interplay, showing how minor past events influence present outcomes. The invisible threads of causality connect individual perception to broader narratives, allowing the audience to appreciate the subtle interdependencies that govern life, consciousness, and the universe. Philosophical perspectives provide additional depth. Eastern philosophies emphasize the ripple effects of action, teaching that even the smallest choices carry ethical and existential significance. Western thought, particularly in philosophy of science, examines causality as a structural principle, exploring the relationship between events, conditions, and outcomes. Both perspectives converge on a crucial insight. Reality is a network of interconnected moments, each influencing the next in ways that are often invisible yet profound. Cinematic storytelling makes this tangible through visual parallels, a single hand reaching out mirrored by the movement of shadows, ripples in a pond echoing waves in distant oceans, a particle splitting and recombining to form intricate patterns. These sequences communicate causality not only intellectually but emotionally, allowing the audience to experience the hidden architecture of influence. The suspense of causality emerges from its imperceptibility. Micro-moments often occur without conscious awareness, yet their effects can be monumental. A decision made without thought may alter relationships, careers, or even historical trajectories. Subtle physical events, a particle's vibration, a minor gravitational shift, can propagate across systems, influencing outcomes in ways that are neither linear nor immediately observable. Cinematic techniques emphasize this ripple effect. A single droplet causes waves across a pond, a fleeting glance triggers a cascade of human interaction, and a small spark ignites a larger chain of events. These sequences reveal the extraordinary power inherent in the hidden universe between moments. Emotion, awe, and intellectual curiosity converge in the exploration of causality. Audiences recognize that life is structured not merely by apparent actions but by the cumulative impact of imperceptible micro-moments. Suspense arises naturally as viewers understand that consequences may be unfolding unseen, their weight and significance only revealed later. Cinematic devices, intercutting multiple storylines, overlaying sound cues, using slow motion and visual echoes, allow audiences to feel the invisible hand of causality, deepening engagement and emotional resonance. The narrative tension lies in the recognition that every micromoment participates in a vast, interconnected web of cause and effect. Patterns of causality also connect the personal with the cosmic. Micromoments of perception, memory, and action mirror larger processes within nature and the universe. Stellar evolution, planetary dynamics, and quantum interactions all follow chains of cause and effect, demonstrating that the principle of interconnectedness scales from the human to the cosmic. Cinematic storytelling can visualize this through parallel sequences, a person's heartbeat echoed by a pulsating star, a microgesture mirrored in the orbit of a planet, or a falling leaf reflecting the motion of distant particles. These juxtapositions reinforce the universality of causality, showing that micromoments, whether human or cosmic, are linked through an invisible architecture of influence and consequence. By the end of this section, audiences perceive causality as a dynamic, living principle that binds micromoments to their effects across time and space. The unseen universe between moments is revealed as an active participant in shaping life, memory, perception, and cosmic order. Suspense, awe, and intellectual curiosity are heightened, as viewers grasp that every choice, hesitation, or microevent carries weight far beyond immediate perception. The stage is now set for a deeper exploration of fate, synchronicity, and the delicate balance between randomness and determinism, connecting human experience to the vast, interwoven fabric of the cosmos. Synchronicity is the hidden music of the universe, the mysterious alignment of events that seem unrelated yet resonate with profound meaning. It is the phenomenon where micromoments converge in unexpected harmony, producing outcomes that feel orchestrated by invisible forces. A chance encounter on a rainy street may change the course of a life, a fleeting thought may lead to an insight, or the collision of seemingly unrelated events may create profound transformation. Cinematically, these moments are captured through intercut sequences, a falling leaf mirrored by a distant starburst, a footstep echoing across a quiet corridor while a bird takes flight elsewhere, or two separate streams merging into a single, flowing river. Each visual metaphor evokes awe, illustrating that the universe operates in layers of connection beyond ordinary perception. Science provides glimpses into this mysterious phenomenon. Quantum mechanics reveals correlations between entangled particles, where changes in one instantly influence the other, regardless of distance. Chaos theory demonstrates how minute variations in initial conditions can ripple across systems, producing outcomes that appear uncanny yet are rooted in the subtle interplay of forces. Neuroscience shows that human cognition is attuned to pattern recognition, often perceiving links between unrelated events, forming narratives and insights. While these connections may initially seem coincidental, they reveal an underlying architecture of timing, alignment, and resonance that structures both the cosmos and human experience. Cinematic sequences can visualize this by layering seemingly independent events in parallel, drawing the audience's attention to invisible harmonies and resonances. Emotion heightens the perception of synchronicity. Moments of uncanny coincidence evoke wonder, curiosity, and a sense of cosmic intimacy. A sudden meeting with a stranger, a dream that mirrors waking events, or a fleeting inspiration that resolves a complex problem can feel as though the universe itself is communicating, guiding, or conspiring. Cinematic storytelling accentuates these feelings through slow-motion close-ups, interwoven timelines, and soundscapes that emphasize resonance and timing. Audiences are drawn into the narrative tension, experiencing the thrill of hidden connections that suggest life is far richer, more intricate, and more purposeful than surface perception reveals. Synchronicity is intimately connected to consciousness and perception. The brain continuously searches for patterns, linking events across time and space, often revealing relationships that are not immediately obvious. These micromoments of connection may appear insignificant at first but carry profound consequences. A fleeting glance, a thought, or a gesture may resonate with an unseen thread, producing outcomes that surprise, enlighten, or transform. Cinematic techniques, mirrored imagery, overlapping sequences, and parallel editing, allow audiences to perceive these hidden alignments, translating abstract cognitive phenomena into emotionally compelling visual narratives. Philosophy and psychology deepen the significance of synchronicity. Carl Jung, who coined the term, suggested that meaningful coincidences reflect an underlying order in the universe, where consciousness and external reality converge. Eastern philosophies emphasize harmony, balance, and the interdependence of all things, reinforcing the idea that life's events are intertwined in complex, often invisible ways. Both perspectives illuminate the profound implications of micromoments, showing that seemingly random events may, in fact, be part of a subtle orchestration, where timing, perception, and outcome coalesce in ways beyond ordinary comprehension. Cinematic storytelling brings this to life through motifs that echo, overlap, and resolve, making visible the invisible threads that connect moments across time, space, and consciousness. The suspense of synchronicity arises from its unpredictability. While connections are meaningful, they are often imperceptible until revealed through consequence or reflection. A minor hesitation, a chance encounter, or a sudden insight may appear trivial at the moment but initiate a cascade of events with far-reaching effects. Cinematic techniques highlight these ripples. A raindrop falls and creates concentric waves across a pond, a candle flickers and casts shadows that align with distant movements, or a character's pause triggers a sequence of interactions that unfold in unexpected harmony. These sequences allow audiences to experience the delicate interplay of timing, perception, and consequence, revealing the profound subtlety of the hidden universe. Emotion, wonder, and curiosity converge in the exploration of synchronicity. Recognition of meaningful alignments evokes awe and humility, as viewers perceive that life is structured not only by observable forces but also by hidden harmonies. Suspense arises naturally from the realization that micromoments are intertwined with broader patterns, influencing outcomes in ways both visible and invisible. Cinematic storytelling enhances this effect through soundscapes, visual echoes, and interwoven sequences, allowing audiences to feel the resonance of synchronistic events. Each micromoment becomes a note in a larger, unseen symphony, inviting viewers to perceive life as a complex, interconnected composition. Synchronicity also bridges the personal with the cosmic. The micromoments of human experience, decisions, insights, chance encounters, mirror processes within the universe, the alignment of stars, planetary interactions, and quantum correlations. Both scales reveal that timing, coincidence, and resonance are fundamental properties of reality. Cinematic techniques illustrate this through parallel sequences, a human heartbeat synchronized with a distant pulsar, footsteps echoed in a rain-soaked alley, or gestures mirrored in the movement of celestial bodies. These juxtapositions reinforce the narrative that micromoments are never isolated. They are nodes within a vast, interconnected network of influence, timing, and meaning. By the end of this section, audiences understand that synchronicity is the hidden rhythm connecting micromoments, memory, perception, and cosmic order. The invisible universe between moments is not empty. It is alive with resonance, pattern, and subtle orchestration. Suspense, awe, and intellectual curiosity are heightened, as viewers recognize that even the smallest, seemingly unrelated events can align to produce profound outcomes. The stage is now set for the next exploration, the interplay of intuition, perception, and the hidden universe, revealing how micromoments, memory, and consciousness converge to shape understanding, insight, and the unfolding story of life itself. Intuition is the silent compass that guides human perception through the hidden currents of reality, sensing patterns and micromoments before they manifest in conscious awareness. It arises from the brain's ability to integrate vast networks of information, drawing on memory, emotion, and sensory input to anticipate outcomes in ways that defy rational explanation. A sudden insight, a fleeting sense of danger, or an unspoken solution to a complex problem may all emerge from this hidden faculty, revealing the subtle interplay between consciousness and the unseen universe. Cinematically, intuition can be portrayed through sequences of overlapping images, a glance at a shifting shadow, a ripple across water, a brief flicker of light, all converging in a moment of realization. The audience experiences the tension, anticipation, and wonder of insight before it fully emerges. Science provides a framework for understanding intuition. Neuroscience shows that much of decision-making occurs below conscious awareness, in networks of neurons processing patterns and probabilities. The brain evaluates countless microevents, slight changes in facial expression, shifts in tone, environmental cues, integrating them into predictions that guide behavior. Evolutionary biology suggests that intuition developed as a survival mechanism, allowing organisms to respond to threats and opportunities with remarkable speed and subtlety. In cinematic terms, this can be visualized by contrasting rapid neural activity with calm, focused outward perception, showing how hidden processes shape visible decisions. The audience witnesses the delicate balance between subconscious computation and conscious choice, gaining insight into the invisible machinery of human perception. Emotion amplifies the power of intuition. Moments of gut feeling carry urgency, suspense, and significance, evoking both awe and fear. A hesitation before stepping onto a precarious ledge, a sudden impulse to reach out in an interpersonal moment, or the recognition of danger in a fleeting glance can all hinge on intuitive perception. Cinematic techniques, slow-motion close-ups, layered soundscapes, and lingering visual echoes allow viewers to experience these micro-moments viscerally, feeling the tension and anticipation that accompany intuitive insight. The hidden universe between moments becomes perceptible through intuition, as the audience senses forces and outcomes that have not yet manifested in the visible world. Intuition is deeply connected to memory and past experience. The brain continuously encodes micro-moments, storing subtle cues that may later resurface to guide perception or action. A pattern recognized in one situation may trigger a gut feeling in another, even if the conscious mind cannot immediately articulate the connection. Cinematic storytelling can convey this through visual motifs, flashes of remembered imagery intercut with present events, echoes of past gestures overlaying current action, and mirrored sequences that link micro-moments across time. These techniques highlight the hidden network of influence, showing how intuition bridges past experience, present perception, and future possibility. Philosophical perspectives illuminate intuition's significance. Eastern traditions emphasize mindfulness, presence, and attunement to subtle currents of experience, suggesting that intuition is a natural extension of awareness. Western thought often frames intuition as unconscious reasoning, pattern recognition, or emergent insight. Both perspectives converge on the idea that micro-moments, memory, and perception are deeply interconnected, and that intuition provides a bridge between the visible and invisible aspects of reality. Cinematic storytelling can make this tangible by juxtaposing subjective perception with external events, creating a narrative rhythm that mirrors the process of intuitive insight. The audience feels the convergence of subconscious processing, environmental cues, and micro-moments, creating a visceral understanding of intuition's role in human experience. The suspense of intuition emerges from its subtlety. Micro-moments often pass unnoticed, yet they carry the potential to influence decisions, outcomes, and perception. A split-second hesitation, a fleeting glance, or a sudden shift in emotion may trigger an intuitive response that guides action in profound ways. Cinematic techniques highlight this tension. A character's hand hovers, a shadow shifts, a sound barely registers, and the narrative pivots in response to these seemingly minor stimuli. Viewers experience the hidden universe of influence, understanding that intuition operates in the spaces between observable events, linking perception, memory, and consequence in complex, often imperceptible ways. Emotion, anticipation, and all converge in the exploration of intuition. Recognizing that micro-moments influence thought and action in unseen ways evokes wonder and humility. The audience senses the delicate interplay between conscious and unconscious processes, perceiving that life's hidden architecture is not entirely visible but profoundly influential. Cinematic techniques, slow pans, layered audio cues, visual motifs, and intercut sequences immerse viewers in the experience, allowing them to feel intuition as a living, dynamic process. The narrative tension lies in the unseen forces at work, guiding perception, decision-making, and interaction in ways that are both subtle and consequential. Intuition also links the personal with the cosmic. Micro-moments of perception, memory, and insight mirror larger processes in nature and the universe, the alignment of stars, the ripple of particles, or the subtle interplay of forces shaping planetary motion. Cinematic storytelling can visualize this through parallel sequences, a character sensing danger echoed by shifting shadows in the environment, neural activity mirrored in distant cosmic phenomena, or subtle gestures reflected in flowing water. These juxtapositions reinforce the narrative that intuition is not isolated but part of a broader network of influence, connecting micro-moments of consciousness with the hidden universe at large. By the end of this section, audiences understand that intuition is the bridge between perception, memory, and the unseen universe between moments. Every micro-event, hesitation, or subtle observation contributes to insight, decision-making, and awareness, linking the personal experience to the broader rhythms of reality. Suspense, awe, and intellectual curiosity are heightened, as viewers perceive the delicate, invisible processes that shape life, consciousness, and the unfolding narrative of events. The stage is now set for the next exploration, the interplay of reflection, insight, and the hidden architecture of reality, revealing the profound resonance of micro-moments across time, perception, and cosmic order. Reflection is the lens through which the hidden universe between moments becomes visible, the conscious act of observing micro-moments to uncover patterns, consequences, and meaning. Every pause, hesitation, or fleeting thought carries significance that only emerges when examined with intention. In the stillness of reflection, the mind reconstructs sequences, identifies connections, and reveals hidden relationships that shape perception, decision-making, and emotional understanding. Cinematically, reflection can be illustrated through mirrored imagery, rippling water, or a character gazing into a window as the world outside moves in slow, interwoven rhythms. The audience experiences the process of insight, as micromoments unfold and reveal their deeper resonance across time, memory, and consciousness. Science highlights the importance of reflection in understanding causality and influence. Neuroscience demonstrates that the brain consolidates memories, integrates sensory input, and processes experiences during quiet contemplation. These reflective moments allow micromoments to coalesce into coherent understanding, revealing hidden consequences and patterns that were imperceptible in real time. Cognitive psychology emphasizes metacognition, the awareness of thought processes, as a tool for interpreting experience, planning actions, and predicting outcomes. Cinematic sequences can depict this through layered visual motifs, juxtaposing past micromoments with present understanding, illustrating how reflection transforms fragmented perception into a continuous narrative of insight. Emotion amplifies the significance of reflective micromoments. A brief pause to consider a choice, the recollection of a fleeting gesture, or the silent contemplation of a subtle observation evokes awe, tension, and wonder. Cinematic storytelling accentuates this by using slow-motion close-ups, soft lighting, and auditory echoes that underscore the gravity of thought. Viewers perceive the interplay between internal cognition and external events, understanding that reflection allows the hidden universe between moments to influence decisions, shape behavior, and reveal deeper meaning. Suspense arises from the anticipation of revelation, as seemingly trivial micromoments are recognized as pivotal threads in the unfolding narrative of consciousness and reality. Reflection is intimately connected to memory and intuition. The mind integrates past experiences, current observations, and subtle cues to construct meaning, guiding future decisions and insight. Even micromoments that seemed insignificant at the time may, upon reflection, reveal profound patterns of causality, synchronicity, or emotional resonance. Cinematic techniques, flashbacks, overlapping sequences, mirrored imagery, and temporal cross-cutting illustrate the process of reflection, allowing audiences to experience the reconstruction of events and the revelation of hidden interconnections. This visual and narrative layering emphasizes that reflection is not passive but an active, dynamic engagement with reality, memory, and perception. Philosophy underscores the transformative power of reflection. Eastern traditions emphasize mindfulness, contemplation, and presence, teaching that awareness of subtle micromoments allows individuals to perceive interconnectedness, causality, and hidden resonance. Western philosophy emphasizes reason, analysis, and introspection, exploring the conscious interpretation of events and their moral, ethical, and practical implications. Both perspectives converge on the insight that reflection enables individuals to perceive the hidden architecture of reality, understand the ripple effects of micromoments, and navigate the delicate web of causality, synchronicity, and intuition. Cinematic storytelling translates these abstract ideas into tangible experience. Mirrored surfaces, refracted light, and overlapping perspectives convey the internal and external dimensions of reflective awareness. The suspense of reflection lies in its potential for revelation. Micromoments often appear insignificant until consciously examined. Yet, upon reflection, they reveal connections, consequences, and patterns that shape perception, emotion, and action. A pause before speaking, a subtle gesture, a quiet observation. Each can reveal its significance only when attention is focused, when consciousness aligns with the hidden universe. Cinematic techniques amplify this suspense. Slow pans, layered sound, visual echoes, and overlapping timelines immerse the audience in the process of discovery, allowing viewers to witness micromoments transforming into meaningful insight. The narrative tension arises from the unfolding awareness that reality is structured by subtle, interconnected moments whose significance is not immediately apparent. Emotion, curiosity, and awe converge in the reflective experience. Recognizing that micromoments are woven into the broader tapestry of time, memory, and cosmic structure evokes both humility and wonder. The audience perceives that reality is composed not merely of observable events but of an intricate interplay between perception, memory, microdecisions, and reflection. Cinematic storytelling reinforces this understanding through visual layering, temporal cross-cutting, and auditory cues that echo micromoments, allowing viewers to experience the invisible currents that connect events across scales. Reflection, in this way, becomes both a narrative device and a lens, revealing the unseen architecture of the universe between moments. Reflection also bridges the personal with the cosmic. The act of observing and integrating micromoments mirrors universal processes of pattern formation, feedback, and alignment. Celestial movements, environmental rhythms, and quantum interactions echo the reflective integration of small events, demonstrating that insight arises not only from conscious thought but from the alignment of countless micromoments operating across space and time. Cinematic sequences can visualize this by juxtaposing human gestures with cosmic phenomena, ripples in water mirrored by waves of light from a distant star, a breath reflected in a shifting cloud, or a hand tracing lines echoed in the branching of a tree. These juxtapositions reinforce the narrative that reflection connects individual perception to the broader, living architecture of the universe. By the end of this section, audiences recognize that reflection is the conscious key to perceiving the hidden universe between moments. Micromoments, memory, intuition, and subtle observation converge during reflection, revealing patterns, consequences, and connections that shape perception, behavior, and understanding. Suspense, awe, and intellectual engagement are heightened, as viewers realize that life's hidden architecture is accessible through conscious awareness and introspection. The stage is now set for the next exploration, the transformation of insight into action, the manifestation of micromoments into tangible outcomes, and the delicate interplay between observation, choice, and the unfolding universe. Action is the visible manifestation of the hidden universe between moments, the point where reflection, intuition, and perception converge into tangible outcomes. Every micromoment, from a fleeting hesitation to a decisive gesture, carries the potential to ripple outward, influencing reality in ways both immediate and imperceptible. Consider the subtle shift of weight as a person steps forward, the gentle movement of a hand toward an object, or the brief glance exchanged between strangers. Each action may appear minor, yet it participates in a chain of causality, synchronicity, and consequence that extends far beyond immediate perception. Cinematically, these moments are captured through slow-motion close-ups, intercut sequences, and parallel visuals that emphasize the convergence of intention and result, showing audiences that even the smallest actions resonate within the broader fabric of reality. Science underscores the significance of action in shaping outcomes. In neuroscience, decisions and motor responses emerge from networks of neurons that integrate sensory input, memory, and anticipation. Evolutionary biology highlights that even the simplest behaviors can produce cascading effects within ecosystems, social networks, and environmental systems. Chaos theory demonstrates that minor variations in initial conditions often lead to major divergences in outcomes, emphasizing that actions, no matter how small, can have profound consequences over time. Cinematic techniques illustrate this by showing seemingly trivial movements initiating complex sequences, a hand brushing against a leaf causing a ripple in water, a footstep disturbing dust that drifts through light beams, or a glance initiating a chain of social interactions. These sequences reveal the intricate relationship between micromoments, action, and consequence. Emotion amplifies the impact of action. Moments of decision, hesitation, or impulse evoke tension, suspense, and awe, as audiences sense the potential for both positive and negative outcomes. Cinematic storytelling heightens this experience through dramatic timing, layered soundscapes, and visual emphasis on subtle gestures. A paused hand, a deep breath, or the fleeting expression of doubt conveys significance beyond the immediate action, revealing the invisible weight of micromoments. Audiences are drawn into the unfolding narrative, feeling the tension of consequence and the resonance of unseen forces shaping the outcome of even the simplest act. Action is inseparable from memory and intuition. Decisions are informed by past experience and subconscious pattern recognition, where micromoments of perception and insight guide movement and choice. A gesture made without conscious thought may echo prior learning, subtly influence others, or align with unseen environmental currents. Cinematic storytelling conveys this through parallel sequences, flashbacks, and overlapping imagery, illustrating how past experiences, present perception, and anticipated outcomes converge in a single micromoment of action. These techniques allow viewers to perceive the invisible web of influence that informs every choice, gesture, and step. Philosophy emphasizes the ethical and existential significance of action. Eastern traditions highlight intentionality, mindfulness, and awareness, suggesting that even the smallest acts participate in the broader flow of life, karma, and interconnectedness. Western thought examines agency, consequence, and moral responsibility, emphasizing the importance of deliberate action in shaping both personal and collective reality. Both perspectives converge on a profound insight. Action is the point at which reflection, intuition, and perception manifest in the tangible world, creating consequences that extend across time and space. Cinematic storytelling can embody this by juxtaposing microactions with sweeping environmental and cosmic imagery, illustrating how individual gestures participate in larger, interconnected patterns. The suspense of action emerges from its unpredictability. Even carefully considered gestures carry unknown consequences, rippling outward in ways that may not be immediately apparent. A pause before speaking, a step in a crowded space, or a subtle facial expression may influence perception, relationships, and events far beyond the moment itself. Cinematic techniques emphasize this tension through cross-cutting, slow motion, and visual foreshadowing, allowing audiences to experience both the immediacy of action and the invisible consequences it generates. The narrative tension lies in the recognition that micro-moments, though often unnoticed, are fundamental building blocks of reality, capable of shaping outcomes with precision and subtlety. Emotion, awe, and intellectual curiosity converge in the exploration of action. Audiences perceive that micro-moments are not inert, they carry force, direction, and potential, linking thought, perception, and choice to tangible results. Cinematic techniques, layered sound, dynamic camera movement, visual motifs, and intercut timelines, immerse viewers in the ripple effects of action, revealing the hidden universe at work in every gesture. Micro-moments are transformed from subtle internal occurrences into visually and emotionally compelling sequences that demonstrate the power of human agency and the delicate interplay of forces shaping reality. Action also connects the personal with the cosmic. Micro-moments of decision, gesture, and movement mirror processes in the universe. The gravitational pull of planets, the movement of particles, and the alignment of cosmic structures all reflect action and reaction on a grand scale. Cinematic storytelling can visualize this by paralleling human gestures with cosmic phenomena, a hand reaching out reflected in the orbit of a moon, footsteps echoed in shifting constellations, or ripples across water mirrored by waves of energy in space. These juxtapositions reinforce the narrative that micro-moments of action are both influenced by and influential upon larger systems, creating a dialogue between human experience and universal processes. By the end of this section, audiences understand that action is the tangible expression of reflection, intuition, and perception. Every micro-moment carries potential, shaping outcomes that extend beyond immediate observation, linking the personal with the cosmic, and participating in the intricate web of causality, synchronicity, and consequence. Suspense, awe, and intellectual engagement are heightened as viewers recognize the profound significance of microactions and the hidden universe they reveal. The stage is now set for the next exploration, the transformative power of consequence, where micro-moments, action, and reflection converge to shape reality in ways both seen and unseen. Consequence is the culmination of micro-moments, reflection, intuition, and action, the point where hidden patterns and unseen currents manifest in tangible reality. Every choice, hesitation, and gesture resonates outward, creating ripples that extend through time, space, and consciousness. Consider the delicate fall of a single leaf. It disrupts the soil, nourishes an insect, and influences the growth of surrounding plants. On a human scale, a word spoken in passing, a glance, or a momentary pause can reverberate through relationships, communities, and history itself. Cinematically, consequences can be portrayed through cascading sequences, water rippling from a dropped stone, shadows shifting in response to light, or particles scattering and recombining in intricate patterns. Each visual metaphor illustrates that the hidden universe between moments is active, alive, and profoundly influential. Science illuminates the mechanics of consequence across scales. In physics, small perturbations in initial conditions can produce dramatic outcomes, as described by chaos theory and nonlinear dynamics. Neuroscience demonstrates that the cumulative effects of micro-moments, neural firings, subconscious evaluations, and brief hesitations, shape decision-making and behavior. Ecology shows that even minor interactions, such as the movement of a predator or a change in temperature, ripple outward to influence ecosystems. These scientific insights reveal that consequences are not random but emerge from complex networks of interdependent events, each linked to countless micro-moments. Cinematic storytelling can visualize this interconnectedness by showing parallel effects across different scales, a human gesture mirrored in the shifting of shadows, ripples of water, or even cosmic phenomena. Emotion intensifies the perception of consequence. Recognition that every action has potential reverberations evokes awe, tension, and humility. Suspense arises as audiences anticipate the unfolding results of micro-moments, unsure of their reach or impact. Cinematic techniques heighten this emotional resonance. Slow motion captures the precise moment of action, layered soundscapes amplify subtle shifts, and cross-cutting sequences reveal parallel consequences unfolding simultaneously. Viewers feel the invisible weight of micro-moments, sensing the profound interplay between choice, action, and outcome. The narrative tension lies in the realization that life's most subtle events are never inconsequential. They ripple outward, shaping reality in ways both seen and unseen. Consequence is deeply intertwined with memory and reflection. The mind reconstructs sequences of events, evaluating outcomes, and integrating new understanding with prior experience. Micro-moments that seemed insignificant in real time often reveal their importance retrospectively, highlighting the subtle architecture of causality and influence. Cinematic techniques, flashbacks, layered imagery, and temporal cross-cutting allow audiences to witness the interplay between past, present, and future, emphasizing that consequences emerge from a continuum of micro-moments. Through reflection, individuals perceive patterns, align actions with intention, and recognize the hidden forces guiding reality. Philosophical perspectives provide depth to understanding consequence. Eastern thought emphasizes karma, interdependence, and mindfulness, suggesting that all actions, no matter how small, contribute to the unfolding of life. Western philosophy explores ethical responsibility, agency, and moral consequence, examining how individual choices shape broader systems. Both perspectives converge on the insight that micro-moments, intuition, reflection, and action are inseparable components of a universe structured by cause, effect, and resonance. Cinematic storytelling can embody this by juxtaposing human decision-making with cosmic phenomena, natural systems, and subtle environmental interactions, demonstrating that consequences are both personal and universal. The suspense of consequence arises from its unpredictability. Micro-moments often appear trivial until they trigger cascading effects, producing outcomes that are unforeseen yet inevitable. A single hesitation, an unspoken word, or a fleeting gesture can initiate sequences that extend far beyond immediate perception. Cinematic techniques emphasize this tension. A small action ripples outward visually and narratively, crosscut sequences reveal multiple outcomes emerging simultaneously, and layered soundscapes amplify the invisible movement of cause and effect. Audiences are drawn into the narrative uncertainty, experiencing the thrill and gravity of consequences as they unfold in real time and retrospectively. Emotion, awe, and intellectual curiosity converge in the exploration of consequence. Recognition that micro-moments shape the fabric of reality evokes wonder and humility. The audience perceives that life is structured not only by visible events but by the invisible interplay of reflection, intuition, and action. Cinematic storytelling heightens engagement through visual motifs, intercut sequences, sound layering, and temporal manipulation, allowing viewers to experience the unfolding architecture of influence. Micro-moments are revealed as dynamic forces, actively shaping perception, behavior, and the trajectory of events across time and space. Consequences also bridge the personal with the cosmic. The micro-moments of human experience, thoughts, gestures, decisions, mirror larger processes within nature and the universe. Gravitational shifts, stellar dynamics, and quantum interactions all operate through cause, effect, and resonance. Cinematic storytelling can visualize this through parallel sequences, a character's step mirrored by the orbit of a celestial body, a gesture echoed in the movement of wind across a landscape, or a ripple in water reflecting waves of light from a distant star. These juxtapositions reinforce the narrative that micro-moments are never isolated. They participate in a vast, interconnected web of consequence, linking the human experience to the rhythms of the cosmos. By the end of this section, audiences recognize that consequence is the ultimate manifestation of the hidden universe between moments. Every micro-event, hesitation, or subtle action participates in the intricate architecture of reality, producing effects that extend across memory, perception, and time itself. Suspense, awe, and intellectual engagement are heightened as viewers perceive the profound significance of micro-moments and the invisible threads connecting them to action, reflection, intuition, and cosmic order. The hidden universe between moments is revealed as alive, dynamic, and profoundly interconnected, capable of shaping outcomes in ways both subtle and monumental. The journey concludes with an understanding that micro-moments, though fleeting and often overlooked, are the foundational building blocks of existence, resonating across the personal, the universal, and the eternal. Resolution emerges as the final synthesis of the hidden universe between moments, where reflection, intuition, action, and consequence converge into understanding. It is not merely an ending, but a point of clarity where the audience perceives the delicate architecture of reality as both fragile and infinite. Every hesitation, glance, gesture, and choice throughout the journey has revealed a deeper rhythm, a tapestry woven of micro-moments that extend beyond personal experience into the cosmic order. Resolution is the moment when the fragmented pieces of perception align, not to provide certainty, but to offer insight into the unseen patterns that bind existence together. Cinematically, this can be illustrated by returning to visual motifs from earlier in the narrative, ripples in water, shifting shadows, echoes of footsteps, now revealed as part of a larger, interconnected design. Science frames resolution as the integration of knowledge, the point at which complex systems achieve equilibrium or a state of coherence. In neuroscience, resolution emerges when disparate neural processes align, creating a unified perception or memory from fragmented signals. In physics, resolution is the balance point where forces converge, creating stability within dynamic systems. In ecology, resolution manifests when ecosystems adapt and stabilize after cycles of disruption and renewal. These scientific perspectives demonstrate that resolution is not a finality but a dynamic state of alignment, an ongoing interplay between order and chaos, stability and flux. Cinematic storytelling mirrors this through imagery of balance, sunlight breaking through storm clouds, waves receding into calm, or two converging paths meeting in a single horizon. Emotion deepens the sense of resolution, evoking awe, serenity, and humility. The recognition that every micro-moment contributes to the hidden architecture of reality instills both wonder and acceptance. Suspense is released into stillness, yet this stillness carries weight, the gravity of all that has unfolded. Cinematic techniques, long, lingering shots, fading echoes of sound, and the gradual unification of visual motifs, immerse audiences in the emotional resonance of resolution. The experience is both closure and continuation, a recognition that the hidden universe remains alive even as the narrative concludes. Resolution is intimately connected to memory. The mind replays micro-moments, integrating them into a coherent whole, extracting patterns and meaning from fleeting perceptions. What once seemed disconnected or trivial is now recognized as integral, each moment contributing to the broader design of life and reality. Cinematic techniques, flashbacks, mirrored imagery, and the recurrence of earlier sequences emphasize this integration, reminding audiences of the journey's scope and depth. Resolution becomes an act of remembering, of acknowledging that every fragment of experience carries weight, resonance, and consequence. Philosophy enriches the concept of resolution, offering perspectives on meaning, closure, and the human relationship to the unknown. Eastern traditions frame resolution as harmony, a state of balance and integration where opposites coexist in unity. Western thought often frames resolution as the pursuit of clarity, knowledge, or truth, emphasizing the reconciliation of contradiction and the achievement of understanding. Both perspectives converge on the insight that resolution is not the end of experience but the recognition of continuity, the awareness that life is structured by cycles of perception, reflection, action, and consequence. Cinematically, this is conveyed through imagery of cycles, rising and setting suns, ebbing tides, or recurring cosmic patterns, that remind audiences of the eternal interplay between beginnings and endings. The suspense of resolution lies in its paradox, closure that opens into continuation, stillness that reveals movement, and clarity that deepens mystery. Audiences experience a release of tension, yet this release leads to new questions, new possibilities, and new awareness. Cinematic storytelling emphasizes this paradox through techniques such as fading sequences that dissolve into new imagery, soundscapes that resolve into silence, and visual motifs that simultaneously conclude and suggest renewal. Viewers are left suspended between understanding and mystery, experiencing resolution not as a final answer but as an invitation to further exploration. Emotion, awe, and intellectual engagement converge at this stage of the journey. The recognition that micro-moments, fleeting, subtle, often unnoticed, are the building blocks of existence evokes humility and wonder. Audiences feel the depth of connection between the personal and the cosmic, the transient and the eternal, the visible and the hidden. Cinematic techniques, layered sound, expansive visual sequences, and the gradual unification of narrative motifs, allow viewers to experience this resonance directly, immersing them in the profound awareness that resolution is both personal and universal. Resolution also bridges the human with the cosmic in its ultimate sense. The alignment of micro-moments within an individual life reflects the larger harmony of the universe, the balance of planetary motion, the cycles of stars, the oscillations of quantum fields. Cinematic storytelling can visualize this by paralleling human reflection with cosmic imagery, a character's breath mirrored in the pulsation of a distant nebula, footsteps aligned with planetary orbits, or gestures reflected in the unfolding of galactic spirals. These juxtapositions reinforce the insight that resolution is not isolated to personal experience but part of the universal order, a momentary alignment within the vast, living fabric of existence. By the end of this section, audiences understand that resolution is not a conclusion but a recognition of continuity. Micro-moments, reflection, intuition, action, and consequence converge into awareness, revealing the hidden universe between moments as both fragile and eternal, subtle and vast. Suspense dissolves into awe, and curiosity expands into humility, as viewers perceive that life's architecture is both visible and invisible, knowable and mysterious. Resolution is the synthesis of the journey, the stillness after the storm, the harmony within contradiction. Yet it is also an opening, a reminder that the hidden universe between moments continues, alive and dynamic, waiting to be perceived in every breath, every glance, and every fleeting hesitation.